Hello, back on the Prelude today. I'm gonna start tackling raising the floor pan just here. First point of action is I gotta get the seat brackets out. So to get them out and cut them down, it's gonna be a lot easier to do it on the bench. So I'm gonna drill all the spot welds out and cry in misery because drilling out spot welds is horrible and I hate it. But we need to do it. All these little spot welds, got to drill them all out, take these brackets out in one piece and then remove them from the equation altogether. Now I've had a bit of cardboard cut out there, placed it in there. It's too small already because it's got such a weird taper. I feel like I might need to cut the floor out, then make a template. I wanted to try and do it while the floor was still in there, but it's proving quite difficult already. So yeah, we'll see how this goes and see what way it takes me, because I've not much of a true plan at the minute. You might have thought that I have a plan all the time, but I quite simply just start doing stuff and take it as it comes. So I don't know what I'm doing in 10 minutes time, but my plan is to drill these spot welds out and see where it takes me. So yeah. Got one out, not as neat as I'd like to. I couldn't get a drill into like this flange here, that's why I've like snapped it off. Obviously the drill would need to be where this bump is. So yeah, that's not really gone to plan there. This is absolutely miserable. It always is, it always will be. I'm yet to find a decent way to drill spot welds out in a nice way without blunting the drill bit and everything else getting stuck. It's just a pain in the ass. You can use like a finger file or like a grinder and stuff, but you do weaken the metal around it. So if I want to reuse it, which I probably will be able to reuse it, I can't bastardize it basically. So I can't just cut it all out and just forget about it. I want it to take it out in one piece and still be usable. So yeah, that's the annoying part. Right, now I've got the seat brackets out, it's all hoovered out. I can now start focusing on cutting that cardboard into the shape and try and follow it along there. And I could also spend the next 3 hours procrastinating the best way to do it. So I'll update you when I got the cardboard cut out and when I've grown the minerals to actually cut a massive hole in the rust-free floor that I've got. Cheers. Just de-seam sealed all the floor because this is where it's going to be welded along this line right here. Now, the more I am in here looking at what I'm trying to be doing, the more I realise that I should probably be doing this on a ramp without crawling around on the floor, and I get a good understanding of what's actually happening. Anyway, I need to get some more cardboard because my cardboard is not big enough. There's a lot of contours all the way around there, and I don't want to move any of that because that's where the seat mount's going to go. So the panel has to fit perfectly in here. I don't want to bend anything to suit. This has to fit in there flush up against this, and it's like it goes in and it goes out. And then on here, it also goes in and out. So I need to try and figure it out because the chassis rail also ends just here. Sort of tapers into there, so that's connected. Where I need to come up to here, this bit underneath is like very bulky. There's obviously like a couple of skins there. So I need to like sort of do the inside and then I can cut away from behind. It's gonna be a lot more trickier than I actually planned. But I've got the seat mounts off now, so I can't back down. What I do know is if I do this side and make the shape, I can copy it and do it on the other side because it's exactly the same. I should be able to just flip it over. Job's a good one. Alright, after much messing about later, I've got some sort of a shape in some proper cardboard. Started off with a little bit down there that was just some rubbish cardboard, and then I had to go and find some proper decent like stiff cardboard to do this. Now I can cut it out and put it into metal. It's quite tight in there, but that's fine. Want it tight so I can always trim a little bit off. Yeah, I've gone right up to all the seams just for now, and then I can trim back afterwards. Like all these little indentations, I might put it this way and then just weld along it down there, and then obviously weld in the indentations there. Same again on that side, it's quite tight against here and there. We'll see. Right, it's 8 o'clock at night on Saturday night now. I've spent ages trying to get this bit of metal to fit in here. Now, it's obviously all squared off here. This is straight, this is a straight edge as well. It's flat-ish, but if you go here, the car's also not flat as well. Yeah, this was, yeah, it's really a tight fit. And I've spent ages getting this edge to fit, obviously, the contour of the body. It's been a nightmare. I've been here for ages. It took me way too long to do this. So if I get it out, I've already finished tracing this one out on there, so we've got a replica for the passenger side. That's going to fit just nicely. It's all the same pressings. I'll just flip it over. And before I bead roll it, I'm going to brace it up with this box section, come round here, down, and then back across, and then just weld it all the way to here. And then this should stop these two panels flipping like that. So do that, and I'll join you in a sec. Right, so you've just seen me clean all that up, get this ready for bead rolling. That should be really strong now. Should be decent. It was all right before, but I just wanted to make it a little bit better. Now, when we did this test piece, it was 1.5 mil. This here, that's 1.2 mil, so it's going to bead roll a lot nicer. So we did that single pass down there, and it was one line. What we're going to do on this panel is we're going to just basically do a square, which is like a step panel. Basically, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but they just go together like this, and it basically just puts an indent downwards, and then if you go all the way around, it will then create a square. So you get different dies, basically. The dies go on into here, you just undo them and change them over. So we'll put those on, but we need to make a square on there, basically. And what I'm going to do is basically square this off and just ignore this edge here, and say that this is the edge here. So yeah, the width of this ruler is 1 inch. So if I do another one of these here and draw down that edge, that there is 2 inches. So I'm going to do 2 inches in from every single edge all the way around, and then that will create a 2 inch square. Right, okay, so that's going to be our square there. Now, I just want to make it sort of rounded on the edge. Just draw around it. And now I've got a square with some nice rounded edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these step bits in, and then I'm going to run it through. I should really test this out on something else before I just get involved, but I reckon it'll be alright. This is really hard to do one-handed. Usually people do it with two and a big handle on it, so I've got less leverage as well. You can sort of see the step. Oh, you can already see it there, look. It's already formed a nice step in there. This is actually doing it at the same time as putting strength into the panel. Because it's got a step in there and like a press in, it will like stop the flex in the panel. So it does goodness there, but I'm gonna do that, do 2 passes around it, and I'll show you it. So, I've done 2 passes now. I think it's fair to say I'm extremely rusty because these lines are like this. If I take it out and show you, you'll see what I mean. But see? Not bad. Not terrible, but also not good. It could be a lot better. I did a bad job, to be honest, but it's going under the carpet on the floor and it's straight enough for me. So now it's like proper, quite stiff. So yeah, that is my bead rolled floor pan. I think I'm just gonna leave it flat like that. I don't really want anything else in the middle of it. I would do a cross in it, but it's not a perfect square. And it really doesn't need it. I know for a fact that the seat is gonna be right here, and I don't wanna cause any of the seat to be like touching here. So I just wanted a bead roll in there just so I could literally put a little bit of strength in there, so just a flat plate, and yeah, that should be plenty strong enough. You can see I'm not too smooth with it. I haven't used this in about 2.5 years, and I'm pretty rusty. I need a bigger handle on here, but it doesn't come with a stand. When the handle's in here, it hits the bench, so I can't use the handles. I've been using the mole grips, but I just went offline a little bit here, and it just wasn't too consistent because that was the first real pass that I did apart from this one here. But yeah, it should fit now. One thing to note is I did make it pop upwards. So the panel has popped upwards. I didn't want to turn it the other way around and that ridge be on the floor, just because if you scrape it, that's like a harsh edge, and it will just wear the harsh edge instead of it being the other way around, where it's just better. It's just better this way, trust me. There you go, one of them. Maybe I'll put something else in there, but I think that's really gonna be just fine for what I need. But yeah, that's one floor pan pretty much ready to go in. Obviously, the other side is gonna be neater because this is a learning process. At the end of the day, no one's going to see it, and it's perfectly adequate. It's underneath the car. I'm just being picky with how straight those lines are. But obviously, once you do it wonky ever so slightly, there's not really any going back. So that'll have to do until I upgrade the tooling, because I feel like that is a major issue of what makes it straight and stuff, because you've got to be like this. You've got to be like this and push it through. It is a struggle, but like with enough practice, you can get it a lot better. But obviously, like I say, that's the first time I've used that in 2.5 years. Just making excuses of why it's not straight, really. It's not bad. Like just here, it went just in there. And then that's pretty much straight. That one's pretty much straight. And then they went down there. But it's following the contour of the body, so that's why it's like it. It's just a big panel to remake again. It's a lot of metal as well to just throw away. So that is just, it's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. You're never gonna see it. But yeah, I'm gonna make these panels out of the car, both sides. And then by the time it comes to actually welding them in, I'm gonna probably do it on the ramp, but I'll have to get that car finished and off the ramp beforehand. It's just gonna be easier to weld these underneath while I'm stood underneath, so I can get to the top and the bottom at the same time and just figure out where it's gonna be positioned wise. Same again for the chassis rail. I'll make them while they're out the car and the car's on the ramp, and then I'll weld them on in time and then do it on the ramp. It makes sense, it makes sense. But yeah, this week I'll be picking up the spindles for this, so I can get it like rolling again, put all the discs and pads and stuff on it if I really want to. And then I'll be able to see where the next point of action is in getting the rest of the car lower, aside from the obvious floor pan modifications. So yeah, things are going smoothly. It's about 9 o'clock at night right now. I'm gonna go home, get a shower, edit this, and then hopefully it'll be out for you tomorrow at 9 p.m. No, 6:30. It's late. Don't worry about me. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.